Hello everybody out there, and thank you for popping along to my YouTube. Today I want to show you the techniques of how I come about these beautiful poppies, and again my backing paper. There's loads of YouTubes out there to actually show you how to make the little pop-up box, but I want to concentrate today on making. I'm sure out there you've got something in your crafty stash. Now we're going to be making the actual background paper. So first of all, as you all know, that I love making my own backgrounds, and I'm going to be doing poppies, and normally I say at a random, but I'm not doing very random today, am I? But, and what's the weather like with you guys today? Is it good? Here in the UK it's very sunny with all that rain and everything that we've had over the past week or two. So as you can see, sort of random. We're going to be cutting this up anyway, so it doesn't really matter what we're going to be obviously using. Right, so now I'm going to put that to one side because we're going to use that later. I'm using real red, and then I'm going to come in with a sponge with using real red, and as you can see I'm using a mat here. It's just going to help me. I'm just going to work out around using a sponge here and going round and around. I mean, I'm sure that all you ladies out there have done different techniques, and I'm always playing around with different techniques and different things, and getting very messy, and I'm sure that all you out there love getting messy, because I know that I do. Oops. Like I was saying, this card came about by my mum, but by a friend of mine as well, who's making poppies. I'm crocheting them in actual fact. So, and then that gave me the idea, oh, I can make a card. But it was my mum, really. So mum, I know that you watch my videos. Hopefully you'll see this one and think, oh, I helped her with that. Right, okay, might look a bit of a mess, but please stick with it, or stick with me. I'm now going to do the middles of my poppies. As I said, we are actually, and I'm using basic black from Stampin' Up. And my stamp is slipping, so I don't know if they're looking anything more like a poppy. But as I said, we are going to be chopping this up to make a background. And I'm using this non-stick heat resistant mat because I'm going to be getting even messier. So if you stay tuned and keep on watching, you'll see how messy I'm going to be getting. So I think that's about it with my background. Right, so obviously that's my background, and now I'm going to put that to one side and let that dry before I chop it all about. I could do with going in with a little bit more red, just a little bit. But do you know what? Sometimes you can overdo it, as one of my sons would say when I was doing a painting. So no, leave it, it's fine as it is. And sometimes you just have to go in and make it a bit more. But anyway. Oh, I'm sorry about squeaks. There we go. Okay, so that's my background. I'm going to put that to one side because now we're going to show you a technique with my poppies. Okay, so pop that to one side. I'm going to bring in a small piece of Whisper White card. Again, I'm going to use Real Red. I'm only going to make, I'm just trying to think how many we can make to literally show you. 1, 2. Now on this actual card you can see that I've made 5. But just for technique purposes, I'm going to just make 2 because obviously we're going to cut these out. Now I'm going to come in with my very, oops, and this is where my water brush, oops, I haven't popped the edge. Now I'm sure that you've seen this with another video, so I need some paint on here. And this is where I'm going to get really, really messy. So I'm going to bring in and then just very, very quick all over the edges. And you can do this with Whisper White, although I know really you should use watercolour paper. But I've actually used Whisper White with all of those. And it has worked really, really well. But this is so quick, and right, so that's one colour. Now to get the depth, I'm using Strawberry Slush, believe it or not, and between the two of these colours coming in, and you're like, oh my goodness me, what's she doing? But when it all dries, and when you actually cut it all out, I know that it's not a bright red poppy, but there's blue ones out there, there's all different coloured ones. But I showed it to my husband, because he's in the armed forces, and he said, oh, that's lovely. He said, it's really, so, take it from him, it's pretty good. Right. And look how quickly this is. I mean, it can get really, 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 really messy. And this is going to dry. Let's just go back in with the Real Red. Hopefully, oopsie, enjoy this and see the outcome of it all. And it all goes quiet in the house while I'm doing this. Alright. I've done the edges as well because the free stamp set and die, when you cut the die, it just clips the edges. So we're going to let that dry, and I'm just going to clean my brush, because we need to do a bit more messiness to all I do. As I say, these are cheap water brushes, still haven't got round to buying them anymore. Now that looks a bit of a mess, but stick with it, or stick with me, because that will all become apparent in a little while. Okay, now we're going to get even more messier. So we're going to bring in loads of colours going on here. Mossy Meadow, and this is very, very messy, and I must admit I did enjoy making my leaves. So all you're going to do is go, and you're like, oh my goodness, is she raving mad? And this I found was a good way of, because leaves, I mean, you could add another green in. You could use marker pens, blendables, anything really. And yes, there is dark to lights and all of that, but when you're stamping out a leaf, and I've just put that Mossy Meadow away, and I actually need it out to do my leaves. So I'll just leave that to dry just for a minute while I come back in and put the centres in for these poppies. So again, using my basic black and really give it a good ink. And we're going to put that to one side again and let that dry. And while that's drying, we're going to be cutting our backing paper. So I'm going to bring in my backing paper now. Hopefully you're following me. I'm bringing in this and bringing in that. And it's getting quite a... So here's my paper trimmer. Now for my little card, I will let you know the measurements, and I will have the measurements on my YouTube, but the cardstock that you're going to be, obviously, is real red. The measurements is 8.5 by 5, and you're going to score it at 2 inches, and then you're going to turn it and score it at 2.5 inches, and then cut along. I'm sure you ladies know and have done all of these. So what I'm looking for is for my panel at the back, which I know is going to be 2 inches by 2 inches. Let's put that back here. So I should know. So that's my back piece. Now I want my little panels. I'm just going to bring in this one, which I've actually already started, and actually and that is going to go on my back there, like that. Put that up there. Okay, I'll quickly glue that on now. We'll pop some glue on. So as I say, this is all about techniques. This is not about actually making the little pop-up card. It's just about the techniques of making the backing paper and the poppies, and hoping that you enjoy, because I love making my own backing papers and playing with different stamps. And I'm sure out there that you've got loads of different stamps in your stash. Okay, there we go. Then I need 1, 2, 3 small little, obviously with that one, as you can see, small little bits of my backing paper. So I'm going to bring in my